my Lords. This government's priority is to ensure that young people have the best opportunities to get on in life. That's why we commissioned Alan Milburn to identify the underlying drivers of the NEET participation crisis. His interim report shows this is a systemic challenge across departments and society. We're already taking action across education, health, youth services and welfare, and will further build on this as we consider full recommendations from Alan Milburn in the autumn.
Thank the Noble Baroness, the Minister, for her answer, which is encouraging. We on these benches welcome the Milburn report. It is a serious, research-driven diagnosis of a problem which has accelerated since the pandemic. The NEET problem is complex and cuts across almost every government department, and it's more than welfare policy, as the Noble Baroness has already said. It's about interaction with education, skills, health and the labour market, economic growth and young people's ability to transition from school to the labour market. We all agree economic growth matters, business confidence matters, and most importantly, we need employers who are willing and able to be able to afford to hire young people in the current climate. The latter point is, I would suggest, something we can do about right now. And can I ask the Noble Baroness, the Minister, why will the government not revoke the damaging policies such as the increases in national insurance, reduced employment burdens and rising labour costs that are preventing employers from employing young people? It will reinvigorate the number of entry-level jobs and get young people into work and keep them there.
Well, I was with the Noble Lady for the first part of her question. She's right. The Milburn report does identify a wide-ranging problem and a need for systemic and countrywide action. I'm afraid she possibly hasn't read it as carefully as she should have done in relation to the last part of her question, because Alan Milburn is very clear in paragraph 266, and I quote, "It is worth remembering that those under 21 remain exempt from employer national insurance contributions, and as the review has already highlighted, the increase in youth inactivity long precedes any recent changes to NEETs. Employers don't pay national insurance contributions for under 21s or apprentices are under 25s. And I have to say, if national insurance contributions were really responsible for the rise in NEETs, why did the number increase by 250,000 before the general election and before any changes to employer national insurance were made?"
My Lords, thank you to my noble friend for that excellent response. As she will know, I've been obsessed with this issue for many years, and I very strongly welcome the fact that the Secretary of State asked Alan Milburn to undertake this review. Would she agree that this gives the opportunity with the final report to offer a comprehensive and coherent approach, including drawing together the measures that the government have already put in place? But might she also agree that the way this report was presented and communicated to the public was an exemplar that all of us in politics might learn from?
I do agree with my noble friend. I think it rightly identified the systemic issues that have led to 1 million young people being not able to earn or learn, and therefore the responsibility, as this government has already started to do, is on finding the actions through the education system, through our youth services, through our welfare system, through our health system, to address the wide range of issues that are leading to this failure for young people to be able to start their working and learning lives in a way that is going to lead to the sorts of futures that we would all want them to have.
My Lords, the Milburn review, which we're talking about, found, as we've said, 1 million young people are now on NEET, the highest level for 12 years, and warns without further action 1 in 6 young people could be in this position within 5 years. Hospitality vacancies alone has halved in 4 years. The government's own youth jobs grant will reach a miserable 60,000 young people over 3 years. My Lords, this is a sticking plaster on a wound the government helped create. Will the Minister agree the jobs tax is hammering the very entry-level opportunities young people rely on? Mention has been made of the national insurance contributions. Could the Minister at least confirm that they will be consulting on a lower employers' NIC band for workers earning between £5,000 and £9,100? The Minister's comment about workers under 21 does not cover that wide gamut of people, and I would like to feel there is consultation as to how this is affecting employment of young people.
Well, I think I've already reminded Noble Lords, given that we're talking about the Milburn report, what Alan Milburn actually said about the position with respect to national insurance contributions. I'm disappointed that the Noble Lord believes that a £2.5 billion worth investment in this government's youth guarantee, including £3,000 youth jobs grant for every young person aged 18 to 24 who is hired across Great Britain, who's been looking for work for 6 months or more, available from next month, is somehow or another meaningless. I think it's really important, which is why I'm spending my time talking to employers about how this government, alongside employers, can make the best use of the additional investment that this government is putting into ensuring that this is not a lost generation.
My Lords, over to benches.
Is it possible for the Minister to explain to me why you've got this kind of scattergun effect? You say that you're covering all departments and education and everything. But in the government, why is there not a central office for the eradication of poverty? Because only by bringing your energies together are you ever going to bring about change.
Well, the Noble Lord and I, both in this chamber and in my office, have discussed this, his suggestion. I wouldn't agree with his characterisation that what we have is a scattergun approach. I think what we have is a cross-government recognition of the challenge of ensuring that young people can get into work or can learn in pathways that will lead them to satisfactory work. That requires action in schools to identify young people who potentially will be NEET. It requires action in the welfare system that we're taking. It requires action in the Department of Health to support young people's mental health needs. It requires the youth strategy that this government has already produced. That's not scattergun. That is consistent cross-government action to tackle this problem.
Alan Milburn's report highlighted the harms of social media for young people. And just a few weeks ago, the front page of the Mirror newspaper ran with the headline, "Kids' Social Media Ban Within Weeks," citing Liz Kendall. So can the Noble Baroness and Minister please give us an update? Noble Lords were clear during the passage of the Children's Wellbeing and Schools Bill the importance of this.
And of course, in the passage of the Children's Wellbeing and Schools Bill, we took legislative powers to be able to implement the results of the consultation that is currently underway. I'm glad the Noble Lord peruses the Daily Mirror, but I'm afraid he's going to have to wait a bit longer with the certainty that this government will take action for the results of that consultation.
My Lords, I'd like to ask the Minister around the issue of AI in this particular context. I speak with some personal experience in that my son's partner has recently been made redundant on the result of an AI system she herself developed. Now, it is inevitable that the AI systems will grow unchecked and unregulated, continue to reduce entry-level jobs across a range of sectors. What projections have the government made of this, and what action do they plan to ensure a healthy entry-level job market will remain for young people?
The Noble Lord is right, as Alan Milburn identifies, that entry-level structural change in the labour market, and particularly with respect to entry-level jobs, is an important issue. I think when it comes to AI, there are both opportunities and threats that come from the development of AI. I've been talking just this morning to higher education vice-chancellors, for example, about the work they're doing to prepare their graduates to operate in a world where being able to use AI, notwithstanding the Right Reverend Prelate's example, will be more likely to equip them for a world that, due to AI and other things, is rapidly changing in the labour market. We are working across government to identify the impact of AI on the future workforce, and what's more, we're working through our education system to equip young people to be able to respond to those challenges wherever they come from.